Hello, YouTube. How's it going, everybody? Just going live for some fun, chilling out, doing a chill stream. Exhausted from my trip. Figure I would chat with everybody and see what's going on. I don't know if anyone's actually going to tune in tonight. I know I'm sure people probably got other stuff they want to do, but yeah, just figure I would, let you guys know. I went to MegaCon over the weekend, and I'll get into that and maybe I'll share some stuff with you guys and share the um, cool stuff that happened there, and you know that, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey, Bradshaw Studio, thank you for joining as a member. um I'm exhausted, a little tired, um but yeah, I figure I would just do a chill stream, and just talk about nerdy stuff and Transformers, and what you guys may want to you know see in a what's the word I'm looking for, uh in a retrospective in the future, because I know some of you have been asking for certain names and stuff like that. I actually do know who I'm doing next, so just gotta like really do the research, get the script finished, and get that made, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. What's going on there, Treebot? Um, Treebot's good dude, but thanks there, Jason, the Haynes, Jacob Brada, Warren Lafney, one of my channel members, and MCDJ CDC, Lego, Pesto, Titus Paul. I see random. Yeah, the Haynes. I said hi to you guys also. What's going on there? Everybody that's tuning in. I figure it'd be a lighter stream. Not everybody's going to be. Probably people are like watching WrestleMania or something like that. And yeah, so Miko is essentially a worse version of Sorry. Oh wow, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I went to MegaCon this past weekend. I went there on Thursday, and then we came back home. Then went Friday morning and stayed overnight and to go on Saturday, and then came home. Last night. I didn't go today. I know it was like a four day con, but I wasn't so call it I wasn't in the mood to go like the fourth day, and I could have. I could have, but no, number one, it's like I would have had to drive back, and then you have to pay for parking, and try to see if you can get like whatever interviews if the lines are not too long, or interviews, autographs and stuff like that. Well, I don't really look for autographs. I don't know about you guys, but like autographs are nice and all, and it's nice to have the person's signature and stuff. And like, sure, like, I mean, people say it's a YouTuber kind of thing, like, but I like to have a photo with the person. Like, hey, I'm standing next to Ralph Macchio, or, Peter Cullen, or whomever. Like, I'd rather have the photo with the person than the, like, whether it's with my own cell phone or whether it's like a professional like photograph, because then you could say you're with the person. Because if it's an autograph, it's like, okay, that's cool, like, oh, I got your autograph, but like the photo is more sentimental. Like, that to me is the memory, and like that's how I usually feel about it. Like, yeah. So like Treebot, I got this funny story because at TFCon, I met is where I actually met Treebot in person. It yeah, comes to mind. Okay, let's put the what you actually meant to say, right? So like we were where we were all supposed to wear the masks and stuff like that, and I think that, I mean, I took the mask off, and then they were like, oh, you were supposed to have your mask on, but like Treebot had his mask on, and it was me, Balt Matrix, and Treebot. and but I was not all about the masks. And of course, I'm the one that gets in trouble, but Treebot was the good kid. He was, making sure he had his mask on. So yeah, but it is what it is. So but that was like all at TFCon. But yeah, MegaCon, the lines were insane. That is for sure. Yeah. I did not you know I didn't really want to wait in line for anything. Like I was just wasn't in the mood to do so. I did go in a lot. Did go sit in a lot of panels. Like I had more time um doing that than like um what's it called? I was more interested in the um the experience of it all, but I wanted to like just be able to meet those people. The problem is that like because the autograph lines are so long, like are you going to go up there and pay $60 for an autograph? Another 40 for a photo with them, or $80 for a photo with them, depending upon how famous they are. And then you can't really talk to them because the line is so long. Like it's not so personal, and I think that's why I loved RetroCon like in Pennsylvania so much, because it's a smaller convention. And I kind of feel like the same way with New York Comic Con. Like New York Comic Con is massive. Um, so like you want to go through all that stuff and just uh do that. So um yeah, like if I'm ever at a convention and I'm there and you see me and you want to say hi, like I'm gonna be walking around the convention. So like I'm there to have just as much fun as you are. So you want to take a photo with me? Sure. Like I have no problem with that. I've never had an issue, because I don't think I'm that famous. Like, okay, I'm at 99,200 something subscribers. I'm like that close to 100K. Great subscribers. View count has not been there, like for like, so I think a lot of them are subscribed, but are they watching my content and stuff? So um there's that. And like, but so I don't think of myself as like that famous really. Like I don't um you know look at myself that famous at all. So like I was walking around MegaCon and I'm taking photos and just walking around the convention. I did walked up to the table where Walter Jones, because like they had like the professional, like the actual guests that came there as guests for MegaCon. So you had your Fonzie was there, the Cobra Kai people were there, Cobra you know all those kind of um folks, and like that's all the autograph section, and then there's the artist alley. But they had Walter Jones and Karen Ashley, who are, if you're a Power Rangers fan, you know who they are. Original Black Ranger and the second Yellow Ranger. They were there at like a secondary table or whatever, like in the middle of the convention, sponsored, I think, through somebody, and they were just chilling out at the table. So like I've met Karen Ashley like more than once, and she's always been awesome. And yeah, like she so sitting there talking to her and just like, hey, um you're I met you a few times. It's always great to see you and stuff like that. And so just talking to her for a little bit. And Walter Jones was chill. But you can kind of tell like there's this vibe, like whenever you're meeting. I always feel like whenever I'm going up to a celebrity's desk and they charge for autographs or charge for photos with them, like you feel like obligated to. But if you don't got the money to spend that much money, you just want to just say hi, I really love your work, blah 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 blah, move on, let you work the convention. I'd rather just be able to like say hi to the person. But yes, Sonic Bomb Bros, this is me. I know that some people like they only watch my retrospectives, and some people like they watch my news videos, and that there's no like sometimes that there is an overlap. But I wonder if there's like, if you watch all of my content, you're gonna see, you'll see me on camera talking Transformers, talking the news, I want to do more toy reviews, but it's like a matter of time spending to do so, and then editing it and putting it together. Because I also want to work on these retrospectives because these retrospectives are huge. The Blur video took me a lot longer than I wanted to write the script, which really shouldn't have taken me that long. But when you think about how much the character's actually been in, I wanted to do him so much justice. And I'm just going to say from the Blur video, I worked from that. Before that video, I worked on like the retrospective before that was Thundercracker. And Thundercracker, my original plan for Thundercracker was to go from Thundercracker to another character who actually is going to be the next retrospective. But I was like, the origin of both of those characters' names and bios is the same. So you're going to feel like it's like the same thing, the same video over again, talking about where they come from. But like, it's, how can I describe it? Like if you go from, one character to the next, I don't want it to like feel like boring, so to speak. So I felt Blur was like the perfect go-to next because Blur had a history with Thundercracker in animated. And that, like, in my research for Thundercracker, it had me do Blur. And that is where, like, doing that character. Also, I want to give a shout out to Raziel. Thank you very much for that. He said, your retrospectives are your best work. You watch everything I do. So Raziel actually interviewed John Machida Jr. Recently. You should actually check his interviews out. He's doing some great work there because he does a lot of the spotlights on the voice actors, which is great. And the what's it called? When John Machida Jr. was talking about his career and stuff, I was like, I can't like not highlight him because the creation of Blur it's not like the character of Blur was actually created in the first draft a little bit differently, but once they went into you know the like actually making him talk fast, they went to John Machida and tailored the role to John Machida Jr. Like they actually went with his whole thing there. So like that's why like I had to like really talk about him that way. So like, so shout out to Raziel Kane's interview with John Machida Jr. for why I did what I did with Blur's, the beginning of the video. So Princeton, first and foremost, yeah, I'll say hi to David Blaine. But thank you so much for that. Saying hello. Have a blessed Easter. He is risen. He is risen indeed. So let's give you a thank you for that one.
Stop! Let go of my dad! It's the Snoop Dogg.
So, but yeah, I mentioned you in one of my videos. Yeah, you can mention me when you're talking about stuff. I mean, so cool stuff. You should see my modification of Legacy Prime RC. Oh, okay. So I could see why you probably would want to do that if you really wanted the character to be more like Prime RC. Like I like the G1 character more. So to me, Prime RC is like a different character. So, how do I feel about Scourge being Optimus Prime from another universe? Like, well, that's only a rumor right now. I've seen the rumor. I've seen like everybody placing the photos and everything together, and going together with stuff, and it's a possibility about it being like a Nemesis Prime Scourge, because I mean, if you think about it, the Scourge from Transformers Robots in Disguise Black Convoy was a copy of Optimus, but it was an actual different Autobot. So I don't know how they're going to do that origin. I don't know. Like, it's going to be a different universe no matter what way you look at it. So you really can't, look at it differently. So it's like, I don't, it's not like I don't know how to feel. It's It's another Transformers universe. They're not delivering us Generation One Transformers like I've been wanting since 1984 for them to do a live action Transformers movie. Like when I was in 2006, 2005, 2006, everybody was wondering if we were actually going to get Transformers like we were expecting, and we got out something from very different in 2007. So I don't expect to ever see that on the big screen. So my first blurt for was JMJ. Okay, cool. Yeah, very very strange switch from animated to Armada. Have I seen Batjack stop motion series? No, I have not. There's so many rumors, a lot of rumors. Refuse to accept it as the Bayverse. Yeah, I know. Treebot's a big Bayverse fan, so I refuse to conjoin them together. I feel like it takes away from. But yeah, it's like well, that's fine. But I mean, like Bumblebee felt like it was a new beginning, and that whole like beginning when I saw when you see um when you see like all those G1 characters on Cybertron, you're like, oh, like that's what I wanted to see. Like I can't believe that I can recognize every single Transformer there. Like, oh my gosh, there's that one, there's that one, there's that one. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome to see them all on Cybertron. And then we're gonna go off to Earth, and that's fine, and that's cool. And then Optimus on the Golden Gate Bridge with the trailer and the truck mode and everything was just like I was just like that was literally like why I like the Bumblebee movie. I mean, granted, the fight scene between Bumblebee and Shatter and Dropkick were amazing, but that was why like I felt like Bumblebee was so that movie did for Generation One fans what we've wanted since 2007. So, have I seen the Megatron leak? Yes, I have. In fact, let's actually do that. Let's bring that up. Let's bring up that leaked image, and we'll look at it. We'll talk about it. Two things actually I want to bring up because very interesting stuff happening. I don't know if everybody has that up because I think it might have gotten taken down. I wouldn't be surprised if it got taken down. I did see the Megatron leak. Yeah, I did see the Megatron leak. It was I don't know if because we don't know if Megatron's even going to be in the movie, so we'll see. Like we'll see if Megatron's even in the movie. Like they haven't been able to do the character justice since like ever. Yeah, it truly is a reset. Closest thing in G1 to live action is Bumblebee. Yeah, I like the new direction emerging both of them. I kind of, yeah, a little bit, somewhat. To be honest, I think that Megatron is scarier than the Bay design. And you know something? It goes to show you that you can do a Generation 1 styled looking robot and still have him look scary and terrifying. And you don't have to make it look like he's wearing his armor on the inside and on the outside it's all his innards. Like that's what Bayverse Megatron looks like to me. Like that's yeah, that Megatron design is it was cool looking. I mean, the face is a little weird with the mouth and the way the metal was like kind of like doing something like that. But what do yeah? So like that's what everyone's wondering. Like, what do I think about that Megatron? I'm trying to see if I can bring it up because everybody on Twitter was sharing it, and it's not on the websites, so it's not there that everyone's talking about it. So like maybe if I could bring up, and I know I'm just kind of like doing kind of a little bit of a chill stuff right now, and that's nightmare fuel. Yeah, that's something else there. But PWTF. Because everyone's been posting stuff all over the place. And when you're away for the weekend and you're trying to catch up on all the news, like it's kind of difficult. But there wasn't much Transformer stuff coming out to talk about. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of like I was spending the whole weekend looking at MegaCon and like honestly to myself wondering, is Transformers like really hurting right now as a brand as a whole? you know, and because man, anime is like taking over the like the forefront of what everybody's into right now. Like anime, like hardcore. And I don't mind it. I mean, Demon Slayer is freaking awesome. Like I want to go back and rewatch the first season of Demon Slayer again to refresh my memory because you know, the Mugen Train arc was awesome, and then the Red Light District, I think it is the next part of the second season of Demon Slayer. That was just awesome. But so many cosplay, everyone was cosplaying as anime, and whereas like Star Wars, like the whole convention was basically Star Wars and anime. Transformers, very small presence, very very small. Like people were selling stuff, and there was a lot of stuff out there for Transformers. Like you had like one booth that he had a lot of like modern Transformer stuff and GI Joe and He-Man, and then he had another booth had like a lot of other stuff out there, but most of the stuff I saw was like customized art for anime, dolls for anime, cosplay anime, swords for anime, like everything. So it was like a lot of that stuff, and kind of made me think about stuff because like is Star Wars and Marvel like basically dying? Is Transformers and GI Joe like kind of like a dying brand or what have you? Like I wonder. So did I hear that BotCon 2023 is going to be in East Rutherford, New Jersey? So I leave New Jersey and moved to Florida, and now they're going to have a BotCon in New Jersey. Well, maybe I might have to take a flight to and stay at my sister's house. My sister actually lives like 10 minutes, I think, from like 15 minutes from the American Dream Mall. So like she lives up there. So and maybe I might take a flight up there. It might be an idea to do. We just have to get the money together to do that, because that's really the issue. Like I only spent $20 at MegaCon, and I'm going to talk about my pickups before I start showing you guys photos. So the two pickups I got were Transformers comics. I had to. I was looking around for Transformers stuff. Action figure wise was too expensive, so I picked up some comics. And $15 or $5. Well, yeah, we go. $5 for issue 47. Yeah, 47. Bob Budiansky's cover. This cover here, with the Seacons, is the start of the Underbase saga, and it's the cover is drawn by Bob Budiansky himself. So he drew this, and of course he was the head writer for Transformers up until issue 55. So this is his work, man. And then of course this is the Underbase powered Starscream right here. With the power of the Underbase, he kills everybody. And for $20, I mean, really, honestly, 2 issues of the comic that I can find. Other people, they were charging this same issue. Yeah, this same issue, someone else had for 45. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't see any dings. I don't see any scratches. I don't know if I don't know if it's a second printing, but this specifically, like $15, like you can't go wrong there. One guy was charging more for Transformers comics. Granted, issue 79 was going for $75 because the last 15 issues of the comic book as you move up in numbers, the price of them goes up because there were less of them sold, so there was less of them in circulation. So if you want an actual like bagged and boarded copy of a comic book, it's going to be very difficult to find, like issue 75. So yeah, but I had to have the Underbase. I had to have the Underbase saga, at least there. So I feel that Megatron should show up in a post-credit scene. That would be cool. That would be cool because at least let them establish the Autobots on Earth. And since they already are going to be facing off against a main threat, set up the sequel. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Set up the sequel. So, planning to make a custom Legacy Prime Bumblebee using ER. Okay, I mean, I can kind of see that. Um, I guess so many people like love the door wing thing, but you know, to me, Bumblebee was always like that the hood. I mean, the cab part of the car was his chest and gut. So like that's how I always looked at it. Like with the hood of the car was always his feet. So how do I feel about Liza Koshy voicing RC? I think they should have kept what's her name? Gray Delilo. They could have kept her, but we'll see how they do her character. I'm hoping her character, at least they keep RC. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to characterize her because this is going to be so. Um, it's going to be so different. It's supposed to be like the Beast. They're setting this up to be a Beast trilogy. That's to my understanding. Gray is really busy these days. Yeah, I can see that. They could have brought Sue Blue. Sue Blue could have come back and done a RC again. That would have been nice. In the video for Prime and Primal statues, some people think they hear a T-Rex growl at the end of the video, so maybe Beast Wars Megatron could appear. Possible. We have no what's the word I'm looking for? We have no confirmation about what Predacons are going to show up in the movie. Like we've just have heard now. I've heard the rumor around that there are going to be Predacons in the movie. And yeah. So I like how the humanoid face and RC looks like G1. And you see, that's the thing. Like RC looks like RC. She looked like RC in the Bumblebee movie, and this is a sequel to that. Optimus looks like Optimus. Bumblebee looks like Bumblebee movie. Bumblebee, moving on to the next movie. Why can't we have that for Wheeljack? Why can't we have that for Wheeljack? I don't know. So but we'll see. But so if we're going to, how would I feel if they had Sumali Montano voicing this? Um, you know, I think she would have done great. I think honestly she would have done great because she's already done voiced RC before, and it would have been cool to have another uh existing Transformers voice actor reprise the role, even if it's a different universe. Like I always like to see that. Like I like to see like existing, because that's something in Japan, they always do that. Japanese, like even if it's a different continuity, they will always use the same voice actor, throughout. Like the Optimus Prime in the Netflix trilogy, the Optimus Prime of G1 has voiced that same, Japanese convoy Optimus Prime and he did so in the Netflix trilogy too. So, what was that you say? No offense, but maximal kitty cats like Cheetor and Tegra are definitely. I mean, you can like who you like. I'm always the person that people can like whatever character they want to. I just feel like if they're gonna have existing characters, they should respect the source material. Like, but Transformers has never been, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like that. Like, Transformers is not a franchise that like it goes back and forth about whether or not it wants to respect its own source material. So the head looks better in Rise of the Beast for RC than Bumblebee. Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. That for not for the toy, not so much, but for in the actual like CG. Yeah, I'm predicting they do the same for Wheeljack. I hope so. We'll see. We'll see what they do because right now the only toy that has been even revealed has been that mainline one, and Cheetor with that same set doesn't look like the Cheetor in the movie, so Wheeljack could look different. We'll see. Would love to see Elita 1 in live action. I don't know how they would do her. How they would even do her. Would they even do her justice? That's the other question. I'm thinking, just like Sonic, Japan is so much better at keeping voice actors around. Yeah, well, exactly. Like they do that for like not just for Transformers, but I mean for like everything. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they use the same voice actors for, I think, to my understanding, Full Metal Alchemist and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are two separate animes. It's like the Brotherhood is supposed to be the more accurate to the manga, anime, and no one liked the first one apparently, or they did like the first one. I'm not gonna, some people may like it like one way or the other, but like the voice actor, is it the same voice actor for the characters for both animes, or is it different? I don't know. I'll be hoping that some narrative element explaining Wheeljack change of appearance. We're seeing this new sudden change in a vacuum with no back. Exactly. Like if they're going to change a character like that, well, they're changing the voice actor too. Because the voice actor is going to be somebody whose English is not 100%. So it's going to sound a little different. It's going to be a different sounding character. That's why people have called this Wheeljack Pablo on Twitter all over the place. So, but you like what you like. So, I almost want to like detach myself from it in a way. Like I kind of feel that way about a lot of the stuff lately. It just, let me do my retrospectives and my news and enjoy the action figures and it is what it is. So, and maybe Ironhide will appear. Yeah, I would like to see Ironhide again. What's going on? I guess we got some more folks coming in. Borks Bear and Jace Theme Park Show. What's going on, everybody? I have a very low viewership tonight. I kind of figured it would be. A lot of people. Yeah. Masao Nazawaka has been Goku for 40 years. She voiced Gohan, Goten, and all their male descendants and has been featured in the show in Goku's family tree. It's quite incredible. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like Dragon Ball. She's been Goku with that Kame. Like it's I wonder, I go back and forth about whether or not which Goku I like better. The English actor or the Japanese actor. So, yeah, I guess some people are doing stuff. They could be watching WrestleMania. That could be the other thing. I don't have pay-per-view. That's why I didn't get any interviews. That's why these are the only two pickups that I got. Yeah, the only two pickups that I was able to get at MegaCon was the comic books, and I mean $20. Not that much. Everything else I spent money on was food, the hotel, because I stayed there one night because I went there Thursday and then we stayed over. The money we spent was Friday night, yeah, so like that's probably where a lot of people are talking. A lot of people are probably talking about that. Maybe if I did a live stream earlier in the day, it might have been better. But I know who I'm doing my next retrospective on. So, but I want to hear from you guys what you're thinking about what characters you want. The next character I'm doing, I will tell you, is a character that has been in a lot of Transformer series, and I may have to like really summarize well. You hated the Marvel comics as a kid and now want them from memories, and the stories are great. But I mean, to me personally, I love this cover. Absolutely love this cover. And this specifically, this whole storyline of killing off so many Transformers. Hound, I did a Hound retrospective. I did a Hound retrospective around Christmas time. Yeah. And Springer is definitely in the works. And maybe I'll bounce from the character I'm doing next is, and I'll let everybody know you know, my patrons and channel members who's next, but some of them already know, kind of have an idea who's next. Have a night shift. Well, greetings, Martin, um, from Holland. Wow. So you're like overnight right now. Like for me, it's 9:50 at night. Um, so not sure you're aware, but a trailer for Marvel Secret. Really? To my, and it's funny. It's interesting that you say that because one guest that I met at MegaCon, I didn't get to take a photo with him. I didn't, I just got to shake his hand and I got his business card, so I got to email him. Is Jim Shooter. And Jim Shooter is he was the editor in chief, and so he was responsible for the whole crossover event for the original Secret Wars. And to what we also know, is that this Marvel Secret Wars is going to be based upon the 2015 Secret Wars, which, if you're not aware, erased the Ultimates universe and the 616 universe. So in 2015, Marvel Comics rebooted from Secret Wars. So, and basically what they did was they eliminated the two current, two ongoing continuities, the one from all the way from the 1940s up until now, up until 2015, and then the Ultimates universe merged into one after Secret Wars. So, or the 2015 Secret Wars, but the 1984 Secret Wars, or is 84? Is it? Yeah, it's 84 Secret Wars or 83. Was where Spider-Man got his black costume. And that black costume is what he was wearing when he met Gears in Transformers. Maybe it'll erase. Maybe they'll bring in the X-Men after this. Maybe they'll erase the 20th Century Fox storytelling universe. Maybe we'll get Ben Affleck and Charlie Cox side by side as Daredevil. Do I think that they can put M. Rog as Jazz Carmod? I don't understand what you mean by that. Oh, Secret Invasion. Okay. Secret Invasion. I think I did hear about that, a teaser for that. They're going to bring back bring back Samuel L. Jackson to play Nick Fury again because of the Skrulls. They're going to do the whole Skrull invasion. So that'll be interesting. Well, the suit. Oh, well, yeah, he kept the black costume, but he had the symbiote costume when he met the Transformers, which then, of course, the Marvel comic. Yeah, it's that issue right there. Right there. Issue 3. There's Spider-Man webbing up Megatron. So, what are my thoughts on the Mario movie? I will hold my thoughts and I will do my review on my second channel, Rodimus Primal Talks, when I see it with my kids on Thursday. So then I will do a formal review and let you guys know what I think about it. Well, yeah. Well, the symbiote also maybe we can mention the symbiote costume became Venom, or is Venom. Like, after Spider-Man left it became Venom. So then, but Spider-Man did wear the black and white costume until, he wore the black and white costume, like an actual fabric made one, until Venom attacked Mary Jane, and then Spider-Man fought Venom, and when he came back home wearing that black and white costume, no, you need to get rid of that costume. You need to go back to this red and blue. I just got attacked by a monster wearing that exact costume. So only one of the first 4 that I don't have. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, issue 1 I have, but I don't, of the first 4, I don't have issue 4. I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I don't think, and then I have like 18, 19, like a few of the issues in the middle. like actual physical copies. I have it digitally, like all of the issues. I have the entire run digitally, but so that's how I'm able to do the comics on in my videos is that way. So I should show you some photos, some stuff that I saw at MegaCon. Actually, bring this up. Do I think that Venom movie will be? I don't know what that means. Aside from the whole Chris Pratt voice thing, I think Mario. Yeah, I'm hoping the movie will be good. Am I excited for toy reveals on Tuesday? Yes and no. I'm hoping some good stuff shows up because a lot of stuff's been leaked, but they've been trying to keep stuff under wrap. I wonder if there's going to be more movie centric stuff, or if there's going to be more like Studio Series 86, or if there's going to be more Legacy. Like I'm curious as to what they're going to show this next collect G1, Bowman movie, Rise of the Beast. Never collected Michael Bay stuff. So like, yeah, like I don't collect Michael Bay stuff. Like I don't mind a character that comes from the Michael Bay universe. Like if you give me a Blackout figure or a Barricade figure, like I customized my Smoke Screen and Blue Streak. I had gotten a second one because of the whole breakage thing and made a Barricade out of that. But if they released a Blackout helicopter that fit with Legacy, I would definitely buy it. Like I would definitely get that character. So, and animated Bumblebee gets revealed. Maybe. Where are we? Let's see if I can actually show this to you guys. Or maybe I can show you what I. Here we go. So at least I can show this. Like here it was at that was at MegaCon Orlando. Like as I was driving into the place, um, sat in on the Carl Weathers. But this was probably one of my favorite cosplays. I got to admit, this guy right here. So I don't know how old he was. I think he was maybe like 20, in his 20s or whatever. But this like whole Godzilla foam that he was wearing, he was coming out of the back of it like you would see in a normal Godzilla costume. And I go, oh man, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I go, can I take a picture with you? So like I did take a picture with him. And then like I had him like stomping so I can show the video. And so then he takes off the mask and he's like, are you Rodimus Primal? I'm like, yeah. And it took me by surprise because like I don't think of myself as a celebrity. I really don't. Like I've said this before. Like when I'm at a convention, like if you want to come up to me and you want to say hi or whatever, I'll say hi. I'll take a picture with you. I'll you want me to sign something, I will sign it. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't think of myself as a celebrity at all. Like I have like over 99,000 subscribers and I'm close to 100K. So close. And when I do, I'm going to give some stuff away. But like what's it called? I don't think of myself that much of a celebrity. So like for me walking around, like people are not necessarily going to recognize me, but if they do and they want to say hi, it's all cool. So, and this Godzilla foam was so freaking cool. This Batman cosplay was phenomenal too. Like he was dragging around the Joker. It was actually like tied to this thing that he was dragging Joker around. It was so funny. And this Professor X was awesome too. it was he was like I think he was like sitting in it, and I don't know if it was like an actual wheelchair or if it was like a special push cart or something. Because I mean, yeah, it looks like it actually is a wheelchair. So, but it was like that was so cool. And then they had that whole like, "What's your fandom?" So I made sure that I represented Transformers, and I there was no red marker, so I couldn't draw an Autobot symbol. So I only had a purple one and a blue one. So I drew the Transformers logo. So had to because like no, it doesn't seem like anybody was really talking about Transformers much at at MegaCon. Like MegaCon was like I said was mostly Star Wars. They had a whole Star Wars area. It was so cool. Um and they had you had like people like dressed up as like the Mandalorian and the stormtroopers and that stuff. Saw the Ghostbusters car. Like someone had a Ghostbusters car. Like he decked out his whole car as Ghostbusters. They were dressed up that way, and they had a replica kit and Back to the Future vehicle. So that kind of stuff is cool. And I'm saying this for the people who normally don't get to go to conventions. Um, I do say if you're a nerd like I am, like if you can go to a convention, even if it's a local one, if it's a small one, attend it. Like go out there. You're gonna see other nerds that like this stuff like we all do, and you should feel at home. Like if you want to buy stuff, buy stuff. If you don't have money to buy stuff and you just want to look around, just window shop, Like it's cool. Like it, sometimes there's celebrities there and you get an opportunity to meet them. And if it's a smaller convention, you have more opportunity to talk to them like you want to. MegaCon was huge, and I do want to make mention of this with MegaCon specifically. Um, it is the convention center itself. They need to install more elevators in the areas where there are already existing elevators. And what I mean by that, um, like elevators for me, like the only reason why I say that is because elevators is how my dad was getting around because I went, it was me and my dad that we went to the convention, and he was dressed, he had a Star Trek, um, you know, outfit that he was wearing. And he felt like surprised because he's a little bit disabled, so he can't really walk around a convention floor because otherwise he's gonna be walking around with a cane. So he has this little mini scooter that is really compact and it makes it easy for him to get around. And so that's how he's got around the convention the whole time. So I can go up the escalators, no issue. But an elevator is how he has to get around. And there are people with strollers and all that kind of stuff, so they can't go up and down the escalators to get to the different floors because the main theater is on the third floor. The convention is on the first floor. And how you get into the convention center is you have to go either up an elevator or an escalator to the second floor and then come back down to the first floor. So they only have one elevator, like at the three like entrances or whatever. So like you have a line to get in and out of the elevator. Everybody's going up and down. And it's just not enough elevators to accommodate the amount of people who are handicapped at MegaCon. So that would be my one complaint. And I know I rant on about that. And that's just because I figure I might as well put it out there in the ether. Yeah. If get an opportunity to go to a convention. So yeah, I heard about that there was this C2E2 in Chicago this same weekend. So kind of odd that it was like I guess big conventions all happen on the same weekend. Kind of thing, same thing happened. I think was who was it? I know I have Melvor, who is one of my patrons. Is the also he's with the Game Chasers. If you're familiar with them, they're cool people. And I think it was Jay. It was Jay or Billy. No, Jay said it was like, dude, I got to get Rodimus Primal to Retropalooza. And I was like, well, you're going to have to get me there because how am I going to have to afford to be able to get there? So Superior Soundwave is asking me, what's my like after Transformers, what's my favorite franchise? I would say Godzilla. Probably say Godzilla because Star Wars, I I love the movies. I love the games and stuff like that, like pre George Lucas giving it up. Disney Star Wars has not done as much for me. um, love the Marvel comics, love the DC comics, but it's not as much as other stuff. He Man, Ninja Turtles, Thundercats. Um, you know, love that stuff. I mean, yes, I do love. If I were to say I love video games, I love video games. I can't spend 40, 50 hours on a more newer game. But then again, I mean, if it's like Nintendo. Like I love Nintendo stuff, clearly. My kids love Nintendo stuff, so I get to enjoy it with them. No matter what convention I'll go to, I'll never see a leader or commander class for more than $150. I think the Grimlock I saw was going for 120. Yeah, I saw Studio Series 86 Grimlock, and he was going for 120. And I think it was 150 for us. I actually saw a Netflix Soundwave. So, how many Transformers shows have your children? My kids have, like, my daughter currently right now has seen many episodes from every Transformers series that I've put in front of them. They've seen Rescue Bots. They've seen Rescue Bots Academy. They've seen Cyberverse, like episodes of Cyberverse. I remember. I think I had my daughter like was watching like most of season 1 of Cyberverse, and then I just watched the rest of it. It was just like hard to get her into. But right now, currently, I've been sitting down with my daughter and actually sitting down and watching it with her. Like now that she's 7 years old, she's like, I want to watch it. I want to know who the characters are. I want you to quiz me. I want you to tell me who ask me. Like this is my daughter. She wants me to school her on Transformers, and I love it. I absolutely love it as a dad. That I can sit there and watch Transformers with her. And currently, right now, we've been like legitimately watching 2 to 3 episodes at a clip, and then I'll let her play with the action figures of figures that I have from that episode. And currently, we're a little bit past midway of season 2, so I'm prepping her to get to episode 65 before I have her sit down and watch the movie. She has not watched the movie, in the 1986 movie, and that is for good reason. But she does know who season 3 characters are. She has watched season 3 episodes, select ones, like the ones that I've watched with her, because she wanted to know who certain characters were. Like, who's Blur? Why does he talk fast? So I had to watch season 3 episode with her. But those are kind of things that what are my thoughts on the leaked Legacy War Dawn 2-pack? Want it. I want it. It's one of those things. It's like, it's the novelty. Yeah, she's in for a shock. Yeah, I know. Though she's not. She's seen more modern shows do have death happen. And did this character die? Like, not in Transformers, but in like in other shows. Like, those kind of things do happen, like in more modern shows. So when I do have her watch the 1986 movie, I think she did ask me, do some Transformers die in the movie? You'll see. You'll see. I wish I could have a family geek out like that. Don't make fun of me. Yeah, I understand. I want to say something about that, and it's not necessarily aimed at you, Maria. But it's interesting that you kind of say that, because when we were kids and we were growing up, we were bullied for this stuff. You were not into sports, and you were into if you were into like the geek stuff, like comic books, if you were into cartoons, you were still in 3rd grade and you still liked your Ninja Turtles and Transformers action figures and your He-Man stuff, you got beat up. And growing up, I said, I don't care. I'm not going to give it up for you. I'll still come home and I'll play Super Mario Brothers 3. You're not going to get me to stop playing Super Mario Brothers 3 just because you want to get into basketball and football. I don't want to get into that stuff. I never get into that stuff. I want to get into the nerd stuff, the geek stuff. I want to watch Star Wars again. You know, first movie I ever saw, you know, as a kid was Return of the Jedi in the theaters when I was a little baby. It was 1983, so it was like a year and a half old, 2 years old. Yeah, I was like 2 years old when I saw, you know, Return of the Jedi. So not young and not old enough to remember it, but because it was my parents' date night. So, oh man, thank you for the 20. Hey Rodimus, it's been months since I ever seen the reveal and rumors of new animated Transformers movie about the origin. Have I heard anything about it? Is it a prequel to the 86 movie? The only thing that I have heard so far has been that it's in the works and it's probably going to be a prequel to something. I don't know. Like the only confirmation I got out of it was in the conversation with Hasbro during the last roundtable discussion. And Ben, the marketing guy, mentioned, "Oh, you're going to love this thing that's coming." And that was it. That's all he said. Like he knew what line he can cross and what he was allowed to say, and that's all that he said. So, because otherwise, we like me and TFW 2005 and Allspark and Benny, we would have told you like there is you like if we knew more, we would have been saying it. But that's all that we know. So, yeah. But thank you very much for the 20, and for that, let's give you this. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers are awesome. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, dun, 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 dun. So I figure you guys would enjoy that one. Yeah, I'm like the only one in school who likes Transformers. I get that. Like that's the thing. Like, I kind of sometimes I feel that way too. I mean, granted, like it's weird because in Jersey, like, everyone was like, "Oh, you're into Transformers," and like now, like then after the movie came out, like, "Oh, you're into the potty humor stuff." Like, no, I'm not into the potty humor stuff. I'm into the old stuff. But yeah, so like that's anyway, out of curiosity, since Godzilla is your favorite, what did I think of Shin Godzilla? It was a great one story because I like it as a self-contained Godzilla movie. And like the whole like the purple beam is so weird, and the way he blasts stuff and the way he evolves is really cool. But like it's not, I can't see it be part of anything else. Like, like I can't see them making sequels out of it. Like, but it's a really great self-contained Godzilla movie. So like that's kind of how I feel about it. Love Transformers, grew up with Beast Wars on. Okay. Yeah, kids on WB before school came on at 6:30. You had to set your alarm and you had to record before season 3 came out because season 3 was where like we knew it was like, oh my gosh, this is like take care, Jacob. I'm going to get back to some people. Thank you very much for that. Somebody, I definitely enjoy Transformers with my kids and I love it. So, I no longer live in Jersey. I'm in Florida now. If you guys saw what happened to me last year, and I will open up about this, is last year my landlady had said to us, "Look, buy the house or move, because I'm not renewing your. When the lease is over, you got to get out after the lease." And I was like, "Okay, what am I supposed to do?" So I ended up looking for another house in New Jersey. and the price of rent was more than double in New Jersey. And to either live in the same anywhere in the state, didn't matter where in New Jersey, the cost of rent was more than double. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like, so I got to leave. I got to move. And so I made a heartfelt plea to many of you who are my subscribers and what have you. I ended up making a GoFundMe, and it's like I needed to put the money together to be able to take that and get out of New Jersey. And on top of that, my parents, they actually moved down here as well, and they retired and they moved to a retirement community. So we ended up finding a house and within the same town in north central Florida. And yeah, so we moved down here, and I've been down here since like the end of the year, and I like it down here. So do I miss my Jersey family? Sure. Do I, pork roll is down here, but pizza, not so much. I mean, there is somebody from Brooklyn who does make good pizza, but it doesn't taste the same because the dough's not made with Jersey and New York water. But at least he tries, you know. But yeah, there's but let's just kind of like my sob story there. And I'm thankful that I'm down here, because yeah, cost cost of living is just increased so much. And yeah, and my family got used to the move. Like they at first, like my wife was like, I don't want to go to, like, we'll go anywhere else, we'll leave New Jersey, but I won't go anywhere but Florida. And then we kind of warmed up to it. And it's like, okay, we're getting pushed in this direction, and I've been praying about it, and it was okay, this is where we're going. And we ended up in Florida, and now we're here. So we're still I still, like, it's weird because it's been a few months, but we're still not fully settled. We're not, like, not all the boxes are unpacked. Like, we still have to put stuff in places. So, and the cost of living is going up everywhere. I hear my friends, like, I have friends who live in New Jersey. Like, I have a friend who lives in Middletown, and is just telling me, like, it's hard. Like, the property taxes in New Jersey just went through the roof, and just really, really hurt a lot of people. So, but yeah, like, I mean, Florida here, it is a nice state to live in. It is a very nice state, and I'm north enough that, like, it's not as hot as the southern part of the state, but I'm close enough that I can go to the theme parks if I want to go to the theme parks. And it's an hour drive everywhere. Pretty much hour to 2 hour drive. So am I excited about Rise of the Beasts? I'm on the fence. I think it has possibility to be a really good film. And it's probably going to be really good popcorn action. I'm hoping they do something about some of my favorite characters. So I'll just leave it at that. So Colorado is getting stupid expensive. I've heard things about Colorado. I feel about the moving part. My family just moved from apartment to house for the first time. We still have boxes to unpack. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when you have to unload, and your family has a lot of stuff. I do want to go back to this, but thankfully I've never been bullied since I was a pretty kid, solitary kid. Start collecting Transformers and dolls. Well, it is what it is. Like, my wife has dolls and My Little Ponies as well. Like, don't ever think of yourself as less than. Don't. We this is the stuff we love. This is what these conventions are like, Like, we can go to these conventions, and all of us nerds, like, we all congregate, and we get to, show off our nerdiness to everybody. and when nobody's looking down upon you for that kind of stuff. And mind you that we may disagree on things, like, but we can come together about plastic robots and spaceships and dolls and ponies and whatever you collect, whatever your fandom is. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you want to be able to do. So as a beast, I totally get you. Like, it's kind of funny. I've been saying this about, if you've been watching my news videos, I said that I'm so disappointed that they did not get Gary Chalk to do Optimus Primal. We fought in 2006. I remember being on the forums and saying, you got to get Peter Cullen. You got to get Peter Cullen and Frank Welker. You got to get the original voice actors. You got to get Dan Gilvezan. You got to get the original voice cast together. The Transformers means this much to us. And Lorenzo Di Bonaventura and Michael Bay did not want the Transformers to talk. Paramount did not want the Transformers to talk. But we fought for it and fought for it and fought for it. And we got Peter Cullen back as Optimus Prime. That was what the G1 fandom did for the live action films. Just putting it out there. So for Beast Wars, the Beast Wars fans should have been doing the same for Gary Chalk and David Kay. And we could have had Gary Chalk and Peter Cullen meet. And now we're getting Ron Perlman. And it's not that Ron Perlman's a bad actor. It's nothing against him. He's also done Optimus Primal once before. But that's been my opinion on that whole thing. And I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. So yeah, that's the reason why Bumblebee didn't talk. Because they didn't think the Transformers are special effects. They're not special. The special effects are not special at all. Like, the Transformers are just special effects. They're not characters. And that's how the movie studio felt about the Transformers. Not necessarily Hasbro. Hasbro was like, look, this is what Transformers is. You need to know what the characters are. So that's yeah, it's awesome. Exactly. That's what the G1 fans fought for. They fought for Peter Cullen to be in the movie. So we should have fought for the look of the characters. We should have fought for the personalities of the characters. But we were fighting for the voice actors because we connected. Because it's funny because I showed you guys the photo of Apollo Creed. Not really Apollo Creed, but why am I losing my my train of thought with the actor? I sat on his panel. Dude, the man is a legend. Carl Weathers, that's it. Carl Weathers. He said something that was very, very interesting, and I thought about this. And I actually kind of want to make a video on my second channel about this. I need to write down my thoughts and kind of get this out. But I'll try to wing it right now. So the thing he said was, like, when you see a movie, you need to feel something. The actors, they have to make, like, the actors can do all the work that they can do, but you're supposed to come out of that movie feeling something. So when you're watching a movie, Carl Weathers said this. He's like, when we're writing and we're directing and we're bringing all these characters to life, when you the audience watches the movie or watches the TV show, you're supposed to feel something, and you hold on to it. So whether you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, or whatever. And so when you latch onto something that you love, like we love, like Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed, and that's why I said Apollo Creed, but he's also in The Mandalorian, because that's what they were bringing him for. He said, he goes, you latch on to Apollo Creed. It's like you latch on to that character. So when you see the character move on forward, you expect that out of the next movie. And I was like, that's really interesting, because like Carl Weathers said that, right? And he was talking about Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau about how they love Star Wars and how they've literally latched on to Star Wars and respected the source so much. So it makes you kind of wonder about the sequel trilogy, right? So when he said that, I was like, wow, it really made me like think about this. the reason why G1 fans latch are so protective of Transformers as a G1er kind of thing, and even I think the Beast Wars fans should have been this way too, is because when you watch that show, you latched onto it. It did something to you. You came out of watching that show differently, and that's just Transformers. Like you could say the same thing about watching a Godzilla movie or a Star Wars movie. Like it changes something, and you think about that. And so when you love those characters and you love even Transformers, which has how many like hundreds of robots? They're robots, right? Made from designed toys turned into characters that we've latched onto. So when we latch onto that character, when they make another TV show or a movie or something, and it's a reboot, and this again, it's not just Transformers that does this. You the next thing comes out, you expect that same feeling, and it's kind of interesting that people sit there and laugh or put down nostalgia, but you don't understand, like when we're nerds and geeks like that, we really latch on to these series and these franchises this way. So when the next iteration comes out, that same feeling when the new thing comes out, you immediately judge it upon that same feeling that you got when you originally watched it and loved it. And especially like that's why nostalgia is so strong, and why it's not a bad thing, is because it made you feel something. It made you, and that's why it's so relevant when they make a live action movie of your favorite franchise that was a cartoon or a comic book or a TV show. You want that same feeling out of that movie, out of that new iteration. So Beast Wars, it's kind of interesting that talk about Beast Wars. Beast Wars was, it took fans. Some fans are still itchy, iffy about it, that have been the hardcore G1 fans. But man, Beast Wars just like was such a good show. And like Beast Wars is so important to the Transformers franchise, that like now that they're doing it within its own, the live action stuff, you want those characters respected the same way. Like I want Cheetor to be good. Change can be good, but change has to make sense to like, if a fan can accept the change, the change has to make sense to them, because they have to, the way that you feel, how you felt when you originally watched what came before. You don't want to feel like they're crapping on what you loved. So how's it going there, TFG1 Mike? I hear you there, Brandon. That's why I'm getting at this. So problem is us Beast Wars fans are a niche within a niche. Well, maybe it's like it's not just a Reddit. It's everywhere. The Transformers franchise has certainly cemented so many children's hearts throughout 4 generations of its stories, characters, even though it may make money. Fans just want respect. Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's going. It's a Sunday night. Beast Wars is good though. Like if you can get, if people, I know some people, like they said, like I tried to watch Beast Wars, but that animation, and I'm like, you had to understand it was the 90s. Just get past the animation. The animation gets better. It's kind of like He-Man. If you watch the first season of the Filmation cartoon for He-Man, you'll notice the animation improves as the first season continues, and they really get to their stride midway through, like 30 episodes. Like I say, like 20 episodes in, they really hit their stride with better animation for the original Filmation Masters of the Universe. And not that the animation is, the animation is what it is, but I'm just saying, like, that's Beast Wars fans are not a niche. You're part of the transfer. Why do you think it's Rodimus Primal? So yeah, you have to view, and you even have to view it with the understanding that you're watching it within the time set that it was made. It was made in the 90s with that type of animation. So Beast Wars was mostly a product of the 90s. Canada banned the war's name. Black Arachnia's design origins. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. When you watch the Netflix cartoon and you look at the way that they did Black Arachnia in the Netflix cartoon, they changed her body structure in a little bit because the design for Black Arachnia um, in the Beast Wars cartoon was a certain aesthetic. Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. People, think about this though. Um, before the advent of computer animation, everything was hand drawn and it was hand painted onto animation cells. So anytime you saw animation mistakes was because they were trying to animate it quickly. They had production woes. Just look at Transformers Armada. Like watch the episodes Decisive Battle and I believe Link Up are the two of the worst animated episodes of Transformers Armada. And you'll see what rushed production looks like. But every single Transformers cartoon has animation errors and mistakes. Every single one. Every one. When you watch Transformers Prime, there's an episode where they forgot to render Ratchet's face and RC's breastplate. I'm not kidding. You look at Beast Wars had animation errors. G1 of course, had the animation error. Everyone clamors on about the G1 animation errors, not realizing every Transformers cartoon had them. Animation is just as yeah. Well, I okay. Oh yeah, it's 10:30 at night here and here in on the East Coast. So yeah, even the 86 movie, which had a really big budget, very, very big budget for an animated feature. So yeah, loads of animation mistakes. And for every 20 that they've had corrections made for, um, there might have been another 20. So can we get a toy line of them? Let's get Dirge Clonus. Let's get Dirge Clonus. So who else? I wish we can get the Micron Legends fixed episodes of Armada. Yeah, that's true. Still, Decisive Battle is better, but only so much in the Micron Legend version. And Super Link has an episode that was important, and they did not dub it in Energon. So life as an animator is rough. They get paid like fast food. Hive. Yes, that is true. That is true. Why didn't I go to TFCon? It was a matter of getting a plane ticket to California. That would have been my big thing. It was either a plane ticket to California or pay my rent here in Florida. That really was the bottom line because, if anybody wants me to go to, because I am going to go to TFCon in Orlando, so in October. So if you guys are looking to go to TFCon here in Florida, I will see you there for sure. And maybe I'll bring in a bin of stuff that maybe I might sell because I don't think I'll get a table. I'll just try to hey, here's some Transformers I'd like to unload. Maybe I'll do that there. So so my favorite and least favorite characters, I love Rodimus Prime, clearly. Love a lot of the Beast Wars characters, love Galvatron, especially crazy G1 Galvatron. Love Soundwave. Wheelie, I am not a fan of. You know, there are some characters in later Transformers series that I don't care for. Um, Red Trailbreaker, aka Trailblazer. Yeah, flying is a nightmare. Hmm. Wow, $80. Yeah, it would have cost me a lot of money to be able to fly to California. Um, I would go. Like if I probably booked your plane ticket in advance, like you knew you were going and you were going like months in advance. You booked your plane ticket. You know, make sure you were flying the day before. But then that's the thing is like then you have to fly the next day, and so it's basically like a 6 day. You know, because it's 4 days. Like I think TFCon is 3 days. Is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Right. So you'd have to fly out Thursday to make sure that you make it in time, and then you got to leave Monday morning, you know, to fly back home. So um, I'm the minority that likes Wheelie. I think he needed a break. He needed another breakout episode. I don't mind flying. Like flying doesn't bother me. I'm not afraid of flying. Um, but it's a like. Do they still? No, they don't. I don't know if they do in California. I don't know what they do in California, but um, if I were to say what my favorite Bayverse movie, here's my thing. The first three Bayverse films, there are elements that I like about them. I like the action in the first movie. I liked a lot of the storytelling that they were trying to accomplish in the third one. But then they jump from the good stuff to some really wacky stuff. And Revenge of the Fallen really like quite a bit. So there are elements. Um, I like Blur though. That's like weird. It's like you know everyone knows like you like Blur, um, but like Wheelie, everybody like finds him annoying. Maybe Headmasters Wheelie and Daniel. 16 the first one came out, high school nostalgia. That's understandable. Like there is going to be nostalgia no matter what for whatever you become a Transformers fan to. So, and I'll never. Here's something I will say. I can absolutely despise like as a blanket statement. I can overall dislike all five Michael Bay films. If you are a fan of those Michael Bay films, I don't dislike you for that. I just don't like the movies. Like that's something that I think that there has to be a separation from that. I think that every Transformers fan, you know, agrees with. Um, love you too, babe. It's my wife. Um, Goldbug is underrated. Yeah, and I did a whole video on him and the throttle bots. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like, if you like a character, you know, that I don't like, does that mean that I think that you're less than? No. We're nerds. We're Transformers fans. The ones that we should be arguing with are the ones who sit there and spit on the franchise or spit on being a nerd like this. So, yeah, last night, man. You know, I don't hate it. It's just disgusting. Blur and Wheelie are great Get in Trouble Disaster fans. Yeah. I told you I want their heads. Where are their heads, mighty Galvatron? Their destruction is assured. That's Five Faces of Darkness, man. The writing that Flint Dille was such like, oh man. it didn't ruin Transformers. Didn't it didn't do what I felt that it needed to do for the like it created a hard, too hard of a wedge between two different generations of Transformers fans when it should have done the opposite. Does that make sense? We should have I should have been able to walk in as an old school fan to the Transformers movies and said, "Yeah, guys, this is like the big budget blockbuster. This is what Transformers is." And you, the newer fan who comes in and comes in through the Michael Bay films, and we should have been able to come together. It's difficult to do that when there's such a hard divide in the way the storytelling is, the way the robots look, the way the robots are personality wise are, all of that stuff. And so it's too much a divide. The thing about Transformers is that it has Transformers is a franchise that has room for it because we've done the perpetual Groundhog Day of Transformers all the time. Um, you know, that where every single 3 to 5 years they reboot Transformers. You have G1, then 20 years later, after G1, after Beast Wars, Beast Machines, hard continuity reset. Robots in Disguise, Unicron trilogy, 3 to 5 years. Animated, 3 years. Prime, which the whole aligned continuity. Cyberverse, all that stuff. Live action films, whole separate continuity. Transformers has room for that. But the thing is that it's all the same. It's all Optimus Prime versus Megatron. We're not getting like Starsaber versus Deathsaurus. We're not getting Rodimus Prime versus Galvatron. We're not getting Overlord versus Metal Hawk and God Jinrai. We're not getting any of that. We're getting Optimus Prime and Megatron all over again. And the live action films, for what they are, I understand it brings in the fans. So I wouldn't say it ruins the franchise. It's just that it doesn't reach that expectation of what people were expecting in 2007. So, if that makes sense. G1 Blur is wholesome. Yeah, love him. Love him. Yes, Five Faces of Darkness, all 5 episodes were supposed to have a different intro. But I think only 3 and 5 on the DVDs do. Honestly, to me, AOE is my least favorite of the Bayverse because it was really boring and slow paced. Yeah. Age of Extinction and Last Night. It was like, wow. Will I do a retrospective on the train bots? Yes, I will eventually. I actually will probably do is if I cover them, I would probably ask the question if we were to give them English names, because their Japanese names are cool. But if you were to think of an American name or an English audience name for localizing them, how would you localize their names? Because there's not much story to tell with the train bots. I mean, maybe I can get into Rail Racer, but how else would I go it? Transformers is always changing. Yeah. I mean, think about this. Ninja Turtles has always been the 4 turtles are taught by Splinter and fight Shredder. Right? So they never really deviated from that. But now the new Ninja Turtles is kind of, sometimes you almost feel like they are like the way that they've changed Ninja Turtles is around, in the more recent years. They're starting to do what Transformers has done. Yeah, Bayverse didn't ruin it. Yeah, Primal's right. Hard Wedge, where it did make better the first time. They double the money in fanfare. That's the thing. It's like Revenge of the Fallen was written during the whole writer's strike too. So that movie felt like it was like repeating some of the same beats. And I think Dark of the Moon kind of done the same. Transformers always changing. Yeah, Deathsaurus and yeah, literally any other rivalry that's not Optimus and Megatron is underrated. Yeah, Rodimus versus Galvatron, Starsaber versus Deathsaurus. Yeah, definitely. Oh, speaking of which, Trainbot rename, call Ted Wilsey, right? For those of you who are unaware, if you are a fan of Final Fantasy VI, which was released in the US originally back in 1994 on the Super Nintendo as Final Fantasy III, and then it got re-released on the PlayStation as Final Fantasy VI. This is the 29th anniversary of the release of that game, or it came out April, was it April 2nd or April 29th? I don't remember when the anniversary was. Well, when it was released in the US, it was localized and translated by Ted Woolsey. Well, I did a uncensoring and translation fix for a patch called Final Fantasy VI, the Ted Woolsey Uncensored Edition. So if you ever want to patch your Final Fantasy VI ROM to have a more accurate translation for the Super Nintendo version of Final Fantasy VI, you can do so. Also, the Pixel remaster that's out on Steam right now, there is a mod where someone took the translation the translation that I did, and you can mod the Pixel remaster with the Ted Woolsey Uncensored Edition script. Someone else did that, with my permission, so it's kind of cool. AOE is the worst. How about the Romeo and Juliet law? Video games are hard. Video games are hard. So Melvor, this is an honor to have you on. What is going on, Melvor? Originally 1986, Five Faces, and all 5 parts had the same intro, different for later season 3 standard. The DVD is only the parts 3 and 5. Yeah, that was the way it was supposed to be, to my understanding. Interestingly enough, also Shockwave was supposed to be the Decepticon who betrayed Galvatron. If you guys saw my Shockwave retrospective part 2 video, I covered that, where it wasn't supposed to be Blitzwing. It was supposed to be Shockwave that betrayed Galvatron, and it was supposed to be Shockwave who went to the Decepticon crypt and met Starscream's ghost. But then it got changed. So a bit weird on Bayverse films because I don't really like them. So by the time AOE came out, for some random reason, because the cast and they had Dinobots, I ended up liking it. It's understandable. I mean, it's cool to see the Dinobots in action. Anybody wants to see Dinobots, but like I so many people are like, how come we didn't get more of them? Oh man. Ginrai versus Overlord. There you go. And Black Zarak. Do I think Shockwave is alive? Maybe. Well, good news. If you saw the season 3 episode Dark Awakening, it confirmed that he died during the events of Transformers the movie, even though you did not see him die. So you got English names for Getsui, Grindrail, Shuki. Okay, I could see Grindrail. Dinobots in AOE were, they didn't even talk. They didn't even look like what we expected them to look like. Because that's the thing, like, you're expecting these characters to be recognizable. And of course, see my Huffer retrospective, because yes, I did a video on him too. Let's see if I have other videos. Do I have other photos up? Do I have it on my Instagram? Maybe. Kind of wanted to show some more stuff from MegaCon, because I certainly enjoyed my time there for sure. And I took a lot of photos. Let's see if I can share this with you guys. There you are on my Instagram. Of course, you guys saw that photo. Check this out. Someone made this like little cart they were reeling around of a Titan from Attack on Titan. That thing is creepy, but yeah. And of course, you got Ariel and Belle. So this girl who was dressed up as Raven, I had a good 10-minute conversation with her about um, the character of Raven, because she was talking about the the comics and the history of the character and what they're doing with the character and stuff. So that was kind of cool. This was neat as well. From Gundam, and lots of anime stuff. So I wasn't kidding when I said anime. MegaCon was lots and lots of anime. So, but I had to get a good picture of a lot of some of the anime cosplay, and yeah, it was fun times. Definitely a fun convention. Do I want to go back? Yes, sure, absolutely. Oh yeah, since we're talking Transformers, I'll what does everybody think about this thing right here? This VNR Optimus Prime. I know that this is like some people have already, like one person I think already got it. And it uses the same trailer as the Earthrise trailer. And it's the Holiday Prime done in G1 colors. So you went today, Nick? Okay, cool. It was pretty fun. So much stuff to look at and try not to buy. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. Like there was a lot of cool stuff, but it was a lot of it was out of my price range. I went to a lot of panels. So I went to Carl Weathers and I went to the Cobra Kai. Like, dude, Cobra Kai is just a great series. I love Karate Kid. Love the series. And so I was pretty close to the Karate Kid cast. I sat for the James McAvoy panel, a few other panels that I Matrix show. Well, Toy Hacks is going to cover that up. So, yeah, the helmet is great looking too. I agree. Already, want a new Optimus, but already got Earthrise Prom and Holiday Prom. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't intend to get it myself either. I know some people are like, yeah, I'm definitely getting that, but I'll stick with my Earthrise Prime. I'm cool with that. That's fair. That's fair. He's cool. I like him. Giancarlo Esposito, great actor. Great actor for sure. Every time he plays a villain, it's awesome. And I know he kind of wants to like break out of that and play like a good guy, but he plays such good bad guys. They always say when you're a good actor who plays a good bad guy, usually you're probably like a really chill guy, like which is why a lot of people like want to play the bad guy. It may get Armada Prime. Yeah, I saw the preview for that. I'm thinking about it, but I don't have I have to like unload some stuff. Yeah, you want a council of primes? Well, that's why I have Rodimus. That's why you have him. You have Star Saber. Not all Transformers have Zoids, Shadow Fox. Okay. Thoughts on Jess Harnell? He seems like a chill dude. Never had an opportunity to meet him. Oh, I'm getting hailed. Lots of text messages. You have Armada. I have Starscream. I have him on a Starscream. Where is he? Kids play with him a lot. My kids have been playing with Armada Starscream a lot, the new Legacy one, and he's cool. Definitely a cool figure. Kids have been beating him up. Uh-oh. Not cool, man. You actually really want this one? You know, it's cool, but it's like, okay, well, what character could I use him as? Like, if he's not my Starscream? Because to me, G1 Starscream is always going to be Starscream. So it's like you have to think about, like, is he Starscream in a new body, or is he a different character with a new name? You want to see Heatwave? I would want to see Heatwave just do him right as a fire engine, and it would be cool. I think it's still available on Hasbro Pulse, so if you can get it, get it. Absolutely get it. Okay. I could see that. I could see you doing that. Like that's kind of a neat idea, but I think they're going to do a Studio Series 86 Optimus. And if they do and he's better than Earthrise, I'm tempted to get that. Like that's where I would like, okay, now I'll get the upgrade. Like they're releasing all these new Optimus Primes and they're like, it's not really like, I don't know. Ultra Magnus, Delta Magnus. Not officially. They aren't making one officially. They are making, like, you can probably combine them into a combiner. Okay, I actually did a review on the figures. Like, I actually did a review on them since it was already, that. Yeah, you know what they might do? I think they are doing Optimus and Ultra Magnus from the same cab mold. And the trailer will be different and it'll be Commander class. I think that's what they're going to do. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to give us White Optimus first, combine him with, make him Ultra Magnus, and, with the trailer that combines and everything, and actually do it right. And they'll use that same cab for Optimus. I think that's what they're going to do for Studio Series 86. And if they do, my wallet, my poor wallet. I still don't have Motormaster though. Still got to find Motormaster, and I don't. Like I could probably easily get Breakdown, but Motormaster on the other hand. But I got to open up some of my Transformers boxes that I still have. Like I have a few that I gotta know from you guys, like, if I do reviews, will you watch them? If I try to make it quick, short, and simple, give you guys my general thoughts of a Transformer and say, hey, I know this is pretty cool. Like here's the articulation. The transformation is like this. You might have some issues with this, or at least my copy has this problem. Here's its accessories, and do that as try to make it a quick, short review, and maybe do one or two. I don't want to bring out 100 different things to compare a Transformer to. Like, let's say if I did this Starscream, I would just compare it to Earthrise Starscream. Because I could bring out the original. I have the original Armada Star. Well, you know what? Yeah, I could dig out the original Armada Starscream from one of the containers I have over there. 250. Jeez, I mean, I thought 150 at the Universal Studios store gift store was enough. 250. Forget about it. When you said this, honestly, the first thing I thought of when I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. Go look it up. Type in your Google search, I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. It's from a certain movie in the 1970s before either you or I were probably born. And it's very relevant today. That whole monologue and whole scene. I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. Should definitely watch that. Definitely check that out. You prefer the longer reviews, but a two quick 2 minute. I wouldn't necessarily make it 2 minutes, but like not necessarily like a YouTube short, but just kind of like short enough to give you the basics on a toy review. Because here's the thing: if I just to give you a general thought of a figure that I have, and maybe it's mold mates or whatever, because but then again, it's probably better for me to give you like some history on the character. I like to give you guys history on characters. It's what I to me, I love teaching history on something that I love. If I'm passionate about something, if I'm passionate about like I'm passionate about Transformers, I could do the same thing for Godzilla. If I could talk on and on and on for hours about this stuff, I would want to um like give you the history on the character and what people were thinking, and like all that stuff was um you know that's kind of how like I do, like even when I was doing my review, when I do a lot of reviews. So it's like that's why I'm trying to like figure out like that balance to get more people watching, because my retrospectives, more people tune in for that stuff. So like that part of me when I'm doing a toy review comes out in um from the retrospectives. Like I'm still in retrospective mode when I'm doing a toy review. So um and just to get back to this comment over here on the train bots switch track, eh, kind of see that they would probably just name him the Jap. If Hasbro released the train bots now, um they would probably just release them um in their Japanese names. So yes, yes. Yes, they have to do that. They have to do that. There was a guy I took a picture of, and I have to show you guys. Um, someone was wearing Spaceballs, the T-shirt, Spaceballs, the handbag, Spaceballs, the cap. It was hilarious. I've not seen the trailer for the Netflix camera. Um, Edge membership. Oh, Canadian. Okay. That might not be too bad. At least I don't know the. Is animated canon to what? Like it's canon to its own continuity. Like Transformers animated is its own canon. The Unicron trilogy, which comprises of Armada, Energon, and Cybertron, is its own universe. G1, you got two main continuities, the cartoon and the comic book. The cartoon continues into Beast Wars. At least in my opinion, Beast Wars is the sequel to Generation One, just hundreds of years later, time traveling back into the past. And then Beast Machines is the sequel to that. And then the Marvel comic of G1 you have is splinters from G2 to Regeneration 1 to a very short classics thing. Yeah, $67. Go for it. Definitely. Um, did you go and watch it? Did you actually go and watch? I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. Did you go and watch that and like click off and then click back on? I want Studio Series 86 sound too. Yes, absolutely. Um, it's a shame that they really can't make merchandise out of Spaceballs. Um, yeah, yeah, that's from my understanding that they did. It's very relevant. It is very relevant. Who will win, Ironhide Bay or Bulkhead Prime? Mm, tough call. Tough call. Hard to give you an answer there. Yeah, that would be cool. Very, very cool if they did that. But then they'd have to get, I don't know if they're going to do that, if they would have to release the 6 Constructicons separately. So, okay, so this one is interesting. Um, Megatron is a very difficult thing to get around. How do you get an animation model accurate Megatron? And I've asked Evan and Mark about this, and they said, well, it probably would have to be a tank. And I'm like, a tank? I understand he can't turn into a gun, but how about a vehicle that like can still stay true? Like Transformers animated Megatron turns into a helicopter, and the cannon is on the bottom of the helicopter, and it's awesome looking. Like animated Megatron's Earth mode is so like it's such a cool design because it keeps that generation 1 style yet gives us a vehicle mode that makes sense. So you could do that to generation 1 Megatron, but how do you do that from G1 Megatron and do that as a tank and still keep the animation model accurate? How, like, you'd have to work some really hardcore magic because the Netflix or the Siege and Earthrise Megatron just don't do it, you know? And then he has to come with a gun accessory, like so that he can be used for Starscream. So I understand a tank. I understand a vehicle. He can't turn into a gun, but or I mean, I want him to turn into a gun, but he can never turn into a gun because of gun laws. But like it's um and so I understand that, but it's there's a balance, you know, if getting that accurate robot mode with a vehicle mode that makes sense. So yeah, some fans are okay with a tank, but I feel if you can't do Studio Series 86 Megatron Mac, you don't do it at all. I get that. Why are Legion class figures so funny looking? Because they're trying to compact the size of the robot. Monocat Megatron. Somebody actually look that up. Monocat Megatron. Uh it's a good tank, don't get me wrong, and it's a good robot. In fact, if that was the first live action Megatron, like for the first, like if that's what Megatron looked like in the live action films, make sure you bring this up. Make sure you bring this up so that people can see what I'm talking about. Like if this is what Megatron looked like in the live action films and had since the beginning, yeah, sure. But you know, the problem is again, like, how do you get that tank to look like what do you compromise? Do you compromise the tank or do you compromise the robot? And how much of that robot do you want to look more like Megatron? The G1 Megatron specific. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the problem with Studio Series 86 Megatron to get that iconic look to him. So yeah. Yeah. Well, because they are, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Legacy is moving in a direction that's moving away from Generation 1. as we're getting to 40 years of Transformers. So, like, we're at 39 years now. This is April. April is when, to my understanding, and I need some clarification on this, and I don't know if anybody remembers, or at least back in the day, if toys for G1 Transformers were on the toy shelves in April or May, because May is when the first comic book issue hit the newsstands. So the toys were shown at Toy Fair in February of 1984. So did the toys hit the toy shelf in April or later? So that's what I want to know. Like, when did to my understanding, April is when, kind of like when Transformers first started, like 39 years ago. So I need to do a video on Headmasters in the future. Space Gun. There you go. Space Gun. Like spacecraft. That kind of looks like you can kind of make a gun, an upside down turret ship. It all depends upon what markets did Transformers hit. Was it because, like, the toys? You could say the toys always came first, or did the comic book come first? We know the cartoon didn't come until September. Um, yeah, so he turned into a laser gun, right? But they made him do a space. They, like, Siege Shockwave. The way they did that was perfect. Like, you can still turn Siege Shockwave into his classic gun mode if you really try. Just got highbrow and feel like an idiot. Took me 30 years to realize the Autobot headmasters are named all head. Yeah, hard head, chrome dome, now all the Autobots anyway. Yeah, chrome dome, hard head, brainstorm, and yeah, it was highbrow, brainstorm, chrome dome, and why am I drawing a blank? I'm drawing a blank here. Chrome dome, highbrow, brainstorm, and the fourth one. Highbrow, brainstorm, chrome dome. No, well, Cerebros was the fifth one. Hardhead. Yeah, okay. Highbrow, hardhead, brainstorm, chrome dome. That's it. Hardhead. Like, I'm sitting there bouncing back and forth, and I even said it first before. That's right. I said hardhead before. It's like, you could tell I've been on stream for 2 hours when, like, having a moment. And then the fifth one technically is RC with Daniel, and then Cerebros, depending upon which fiction you follow. How's it going there, Omega? Even so, who was it? And then you had Weird Wolf, Mind Wipe, which I honestly think Weird Wolf was. I think they were probably trying, like Bob was probably trying to come up with a head name for a wolf, and he probably couldn't come up with one because of trademark. But I mean, think about it. Mind Wipe is the name of a Decepticon headmaster. You have Mind Wipe, and then Skull Cruncher. Like, like a head name. Skull Head Cruncher. Like it's such a perfect name for him. I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I know it just came out in the movie theaters, so, and going to the movies is a little on the expensive side. So I'm going to need money in my going to the movies fund. Love Mindwive's Dracula voice. Yeah, so do I. Ape face. Yeah. Snapdragon. I wonder what, yeah, that might wonder where that one came from. Yeah, I love Transformers names. Think about this though. For those of you who are unaware, Bob Budiansky came up with over 250 Transformers names. And so he came up with, well, the first 3 Transformers that were named, and the names were kept from when Jim Shooter handed it to Denny O'Neil. He then took it from Denny O'Neil because he wasn't passionate about it, and then brought it over to, to Bob Budiansky. But Bob Budiansky wrote, he wrote the profiles. I'm talking profiles for 250 Transformer characters, and every single one of them has detailed character bios, what their abilities are, what's so special about them, and he played on names. So he played on the name meant something. So Smokescreen was a diversionary tactician. So as a diversionary tactician, what did Smokescreen have the ability to do? Create smoke screens. So he created a diversion. Hey, look at me, I'm over here. Meanwhile, the Autobots are getting past everything. He also creates the whole smokescreen thing. So his name makes sense. And he named Transformers all the way up until 1989. So characters like Bludgeon, Thunderwing, and Fortress Maximus and Scorponok and all those names, that he wrote that stuff. And he was also the writer for the comic book from issue 5. He was the editor for the first 4 issues, and then he was the writer from issue 5 until issue 55 of the Marvel comic, which brought it up to 1988, 89, somewhere around there. And then Simon Furman took over. And Simon Furman wrote from issue 56 up and through issue 80, which was the spring of 1991. But in the meantime, Bob Budiansky was still writing the profiles for those Transformers. And, I interviewed Bob Budiansky on the channel. But yeah, he named them all. And the profiles. So get this. Go read Inferno and Red Alert's profile for their bios for G1. And then go watch the episode Auto Berserk in the G1 cartoon. Bob Budiansky wrote the profiles. The cartoon just took those profiles and wrote a story around those profiles. So Red Alert acts exactly like that profile was written. Inferno acts exactly as that profile is written. So when you watch that episode, you go, oh, that's who that character is. Oh, that's who that character is. So then think about this. You're a kid and you buy your Transformers toy, and on the back of the box of the Transformers toy is that bio that Bob wrote. And it gives it the tech specs, the rank, the firepower, the strength, the speed, all that stuff is written on the back of the box in this little thing that you can cut out called a tech spec. And every time you watch one of my retrospectives, you notice that tech spec is scrolling across the screen. Well, that's because I want you to see that. So when you buy when we were kids and we bought those Transformers toys, that's how we connected to that character. Then we read the comic book. Then we watched the cartoon, and we saw exactly what we had in our hand. played out in a story. That is why Generation 1 fans are so like, like that's we got married basically to that. So so I hope that makes sense for those of you. Uh I appreciate it. How's it going there, you boy? Uh Thank you. Yeah. So I know like a lot of people, there are a lot of people who hate Hot Rod, and he was a young and inexperienced kid who was trying to do the right thing. We all know this. And Megatron was Megatron at the end of the day, and he took advantage. He would Megatron always takes advantage of a situation. We can blame Optimus, we can blame Hot Rod. Fictionally wise, it was Megatron, and fictionally wise, Megatron took full responsibility for what happened. So, yep, cross references the tech spec versus the Transformers Universe bio and how they were portrayed in animation. Exactly. And you could always see it. The ones who were the exceptions to that rule were ones because of when the character was introduced. Differences would be like Grimlock, a little bit Grimlock, Blaster, like if you Marvel Comics Blaster, at least initially, and then Shockwave. So yeah, nowadays we have QR codes and tech specs, right? Exactly. So on the back of your Transformers Legacy figures, you see the QR code. So you take your cell phone out, you go over to that, and you go to the website, and it gives you the tech spec now online, the same way it was done. I remember like I was saying like we got to get tech specs back, and I actually said that to Hasbro, one of the first roundtable discussions they brought me on. And I said to them, "Is there a way to get tech specs back on the packaging? Can we do tech? Well, maybe we can try to figure something out." So that was one of the questions I had asked them. I don't really understand why they chose Mirage to be a Porsche. So Stephen Cable Jr. actually said the reason why was because they created the character first, and then they were looking for a car, and then Porsche. Oh yeah, so Michael Bay made a movie called Bad Boys and used his own Porsche in that movie. And so Stephen Cable Jr. was like, "Oh, that would be the perfect car." And then they also got to deal with Porsche, and that's kind of the reason why. So, Hot Rod's your favorite. My dad's Transformers toy was Optimus Prime, and first Transformers figures Hot Rods. You could say it was past. That's cool. That's really cool. That's really really cool. Why couldn't they have? I don't know. They already knew the character was Mirage, so before they knew what vehicle they were using. Find it weird how Transformers are the Beast Prime. I agree with you there. Totally agree with you there. As a Beast Wars fan, totally agree. Love how Predaking looks giant. Skyling's combined one as a dragon. It's a version of Knight versus Dragon fight. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah. A giant knight. That's a good. I never thought about that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a interesting thought. Hot Rod wouldn't have been so hated if they were so adamant to kill off older characters for the sake of promoting newer ones. True, but the point is for him to mature, to show that, hey, you make a mistake, you make a failure, you can overcome it, even if you weren't fully to blame. You can, you can overcome and you can become something more. You fail at something. When the good guy fails, the good guy learns from it and grows. And at the end, he becomes something more. That was the whole idea behind Hot Rod. So, and Megatron killed Optimus, exactly. So, Mirage's Formula One car, it's true. It's true, but the vehicle for that was chosen for Mirage looks more like Jazz. I don't get mad about as Mirage as much. It's Wheeljack. That's the one I'm like. It's not so much the vehicle, the robot, and I don't think the personality is going to match either for Wheeljack. So don't like the Stratosphere head design face. I can understand that. I mean, the head design doesn't bother me because it's a pilot head, so it is what it is. Introduced via Michael Bay, but if I prefer animated in G1, other series is fine, but that's cool. A lot of fans don't understand the Transformers movie. The season one characters dying, the toy shells. Yo, that's the thing is that they were to them they didn't think about the fact that so many people latched onto the character. They didn't understand it. They didn't know that the characters were so important. But Ron Friedman did. Ron Friedman, when he wrote the draft, he wanted Optimus Prime to live on forever through the new leader, or to be the hero, even be the hero at the end. So the idea with the way that the story developed was that Optimus Prime still lives on in Rodimus Prime. That was Ron Friedman's idea. He was like, you can't kill Optimus Prime. Well, yeah, you have to kill Optimus Prime. Well, okay, so all right, so he'll live on forever inside Rodimus Prime. Like the new leader, like Optimus lives on through Hot Rod as Rodimus Prime. Like that was the whole idea. So cannot buy, let's say a sideswipe, he was discontinued. Right. Well, yeah, because the toy was discontinued. So that's the reason why Shockwave was not in Five Faces of Darkness, because Hasbro actually sent a memo. We noticed that Shockwave is heavily used in Five Faces of Darkness. Please use a different or a new character that's still being sold. That's why Shockwave was not used. And there is a memo that you can actually look up online that was handed out to them. I didn't know what when I was a kid. I thought Hot Rod was the evolution of Bumblebee. For that, okay. I'm calling Wheeljack Pablo from now on. It fits him better. Yeah, that new Wheeljack. It's because glasses. It's like Wheeljack is so iconic. Like the whole like thing here with the flashing face, and like the helmet is so iconic. It has like a special look to it, you know? Um and I firmly believe in squint testing a character. A character in both look and personality should resemble what they're supposed to be referencing. So Wheeljack should be Wheeljack. Like that's and Wheeljack is an iconic character to me. So that's why I'm so bothered by him so much. Like Mirage, not so much. Mirage, I can see them making changes for and have it work. And I like to see how they do him, but Wheeljack, man, uh, they should have had the main characters in the '86 movie introduced. You know what I think that would have sold season 3 a little bit better? If they just did a 5-episode miniseries that introduced some of the new 1986 figures before the movie. Set it before the movie, just set up the movie in a 5-episode miniseries. So let's say get the characters that didn't get a lot of showtime in season 3, but were 1986 toys. So the Battle Chargers. Let's have the Battle Chargers be Decepticon menaces in a 5-episode miniseries, fighting off against Ultra Magnus, Hot Rod, Cup, Springer, RC, all that. Bring in some of the other bring in Octane as a new triple changer in that, like that would be kind of neat if they did that as a 5-episode miniseries, but they didn't. And because Five Faces of Darkness had to be the sequel to the movie, but it was too soon. Like they should have had September be the go see Transformers the movie. Here is the episodes that are setting up the movie. You're seeing it now. The new characters, they're introduced now. Go see the movie. Go see the movie. Like that would have been, it would have actually helped the movie do better. I think that's how they should have done it. And it would have made a lot more sense. And then Five Faces of Darkness could have been what it is, right? And then be the next 5 episodes. That would make, to me, I think that would have made a lot more sense. Not a fan of season 3. Pretty much watched the entirety of G1. Is your opinion of Earthspark? Yeah, I don't care for Earthspark that much. Like it didn't. I only saw the first 10 episodes. I haven't seen the next batch. So they the thing about season 3 is that you have to look at the story as it's now the world has been grown. So season 3, they've now gone into space. They now have intergalactic peace conferences. They're trying to keep the Decepticons and the Quintessons at bay. And so there's that. The biggest problem with season 3, in my opinion, is the ACOM animation in 13 of the episodes. But the Toei animated episodes are great, animation wise, but storytelling wise, I do like a lot of the storytelling. I wish that there were more episodes to expand that world that they grew on from the movie, and they were animated better. So, and we got to see more. It has some of the best story development out of Rodimus Prime. Like, watch The Ultimate Weapon, Dark Awakening, and then Burden Hardest to Bear. And to me, that's like a trifecta of, like, for me, why I love Rodimus Prime. So, like, there's all that character development. I heard rumor about that. We'll see. We'll see. Where are we? Can a robot be vision impaired temporarily? Remember, they're robots, so any robot can be repaired. Now, Transformers Prime didn't do that way. So in Transformers Prime, a robot could lose a part and it could never be repaired. Bumblebee can lose his voice, but in G1, they would just repair parts. So it's great for a storytelling perspective. Like if Perceptor lost an eye, or lost eyes or whatever, because like he did in Cyberverse, they could repair that. He's a robot. So they can always transplant new robot eyes into him. But it's great for a storytelling perspective for a temporary issue. So that's kind of how I look at it. Dumb idea to give him glasses. Yeah. It basically goes to show you what Hollywood thinks of nerds. Anyone who is a nerd that likes nerdy stuff, Wheeljack is what Hollywood thinks of you. That's how I look at that. Alternate Scramble City 5-parter. Exactly. So, like, you still have the 30 episodes of season 3, but you have a pre-movie season 3 5-parter that kind of sets up the movie. Season 2 will be the high. I like all 3 seasons for different reasons. So, but I can see why you would like season 2 a lot more. A lot more individual stories, which are pretty cool. How would Roadbuster and Whirl work in G1? Well, they kind of did in the Marvel Comics, the UK Marvel Comics. They were part of a Wreckers squad. I would love to see Springer lead have a whole Wrecker squad in a G1 cartoon setting. So Predaking and Skylings could have been introduced. I still would have saved them for Five Faces of Darkness. I still would have saved them for there. Maybe, yeah, I would have still saved them for that point. What energy don it says fake sparkling fizzy juice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The Wreckers. Afraid of Rise of the Beast is going to suck. I hope it doesn't. I still hope that despite my reservations about Wheeljack, that the movie is still good and keeps the Transformers franchise going because anime is taking over everything. So, no, if you like it, more power to you. It, objectively speaking, is a pretty poor movie, but a lot of popcorn fun action. Season 3 is perfect because it's, yeah. Another wonderful landing from yours truly, Skylinks. I know some people would like to see those figures get made. Yeah. So even the ice cream truck ones or what have you. Um yeah, I wish Rebirth was a five-parter. Can like whatever you want, and I liked it when I first saw it. Yeah, that's I've always say that. You even if I don't like if I don't like something, try to understand why what from my perspective why I don't like it. You know, and I can understand why you like it. Like I can see reasons why people like the live action films, the action, storytelling. So is not necessarily there, but the action. Non-Transformers question. Um, yeah, Big O, Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, um, Gurren Lagann, Voltron, of course, is the OG. No. Blitzwing was to encounter Ghost of Starscream. Well, it yeah. Blitzwing was originally supposed to encounter Ghost of Starscream from the Five Faces of Darkness script, but then if you go back even further than that, Shockwave was supposed to betray Galvatron, so Shockwave should have met the Ghost of Starscream. And Shockwave had a history with Starscream based on season 1 and 2. If you watch Countdown to Extinction and I think it was Revenge of Bruticus, even. I like all 3 seasons, yeah. Well, 4, technically, if you can count the rebirth. Okay, non-Transformers question. Yeah, Voltron. Planning on getting Metroplex and Trypticon toys. Yeah, you're gonna be saving. You gotta be saving up your money for a while. Um, no. Um, yeah, just having a fun live stream, chatting away, and trying to answer questions. I'm sure. Okay, good. I'm getting closer to catching up. um, yeah, it would be great to have if we had more season 3 episodes as a whole. Um, Studio Series is trying hard not to make Mudflap and Skit. Yeah, I can understand some degree why some people would, why they probably don't want to because of the negative connotation behind it. But hey, it's a Transformers characters. Um, Not going to happen. Curious, do you have any personal headcanons regarding Transformers characters that aren't in any profiles? Saying this because I always had kind of the G1 Jazz was low key blind for some reason. Mm, and that's why he has a visor. Is that kind of like your reasoning behind his visor? I always thought the visor was like sunshades. So like he's just cool. Um, my if I was to go with a head canon, my headcanon merge well, it kind of merges a little bit of the G1 Marvel Comics origin of the Transformers with the cartoon. Um, I have a headcanon for Windblade. So if I was to add Windblade to the G1 Sunbow cartoon, watch the episode The Face of the Ninjaka. And in The Face of the Ninjaka, Perceptor, his like universal emulator or whatever, is connected to Ninjaka. My headcanon is that after the Samojin or whatever, they connect to this giant statue thing that gains power from the stars. Well, the reason behind that is connected to Cybertron. So, because of that, the universal emulator of Perceptor connects to the Ninjaka and creates a spark of life that is actually Cybertronian in nature. And when the people, because they now have access to Starlight with their things in the head, they connect to that big statue thing. It gives them instructions to build a transformer Windblade, based on the using the spark of life that was created by Perceptor's connection with it. Because as it turns out, that Samogen, I think is the name of it, is Caminus. That is my little head canon for Windblade. So I think that would be pretty cool if they actually did it that way. Transformers the movie, Megatron was near death. I actually believe the Thundercracker Star was actually perished. I can understand that why you say they perished and that like there's nothing left of them when they were rebuilt into new. So that probably just helps you erase the old character for the new character. But there is like Scourge does have memory of his past. So because Unicron even says before, remember what I've given you, I can also take away, which I thought was a pretty cool line. Black Zarak is on sale for cool. I have Black Zarak right there. A subscriber actually sent him to me. Black Zarak, I need to open him. Still in the box. Same thing with Omega Supreme. Headcanon is that the Constructicon Hightower is going to replace Hook. Maybe. All figures need Studio Series. Yeah, they should just do every character. That's just the bottom line. Eventually, just do every character, right? Voltron versus Megazord. Voltron. Going with Voltron on that one. What's your favorite Optimus Prime figure? It's a tough call because there's so many good ones, but I really like the Earthspark one, but I think it could be better. Nerd Rage by the internet band your favorite Martian because it has a moment of blowing up every I'll have to check that out. Laser Prime is it is. Yeah, that it's not really headcanon. That's Laser Optimus Prime's bio is G1 Optimus Prime is built into Laser Prime. Musically in tune with other Autobots along with Blaster, people who are blind and other senses heightened. So my main reason is cool visor for other reasons too. Yeah, I can understand. I can see that. What would be Megatron's new alt mode for Studio Series 86? Well, currently, right now, from my understanding and in my conversations with the people who work at Hasbro, they said that he is going to be a tank, but I wish it was a vehicle that could be that looked more, like could make sure it remains accurate to the G1 animation model since it is Studio Series 86. Like you wouldn't if they were to do Michael Bay's Megatron for if they did the 2007 Megatron, you don't want them to just turn that into a different vehicle. You want them to be accurate to what you see on screen. So you do the same thing with Megatron, but he can't be a gun because of gun laws. So what do? You got to make him a vehicle that actually makes sense. So it has to still work with the animation model and still give us an accurate robot. The robot should take precedence. So you have to take that into consideration when whatever vehicle they choose. I would personally pick a helicopter based upon the animated character because that could work. You could make it work. And but they're probably going with a tank. Am I going to buy the Omega Sentinel? I don't have $200 to spare right now. So bills to pay. So I have to look at like all the finances. Here's the thing. So on the description of this video, there is a link to Entertainment Earth. If you don't use the link and you go on Entertainment Earth, anything that's in stock at Entertainment Earth, it's an affiliate link. you use the code Rodimus, you get 10% off anything that's in stock. If you pre-order, it's whatever the price is for the pre-order, but if it's in stock, it's 10% off. And I think it's free ship 59. If it's an order over $59, gets you free shipping from Entertainment Earth. So that's the affiliate link. And I also have an Amazon affiliate link as well. I was trying to get more affiliates and whatever, but like not every one of them, have those affiliate programs for YouTubers. But if you're buying Transformers online, like Entertainment Earth, does some pretty good promotions and stuff like that. So, so there would be, if enough people buy whatever's in stock there, then I can get the store credit, and maybe I would buy an Omega Sentinel. So, I absolutely remember Peter Cullen. I'll never forget the Toonami commercial for Transformers Armada with Peter Cullen doing the commercial for Toonami for Transformers Armada, and he wasn't Optimus Prime anymore. So, yeah, I remember those days too. There's a toy that got leaked, and then I haven't seen anything else of it since. Tom Kenny, I think it was Tom Kenny, who was SpongeBob. He was in Transformers Animated. I think he did a great Starscream. Because if I'm thinking of the character of Starscream, Steve Bloom was good, but I think, it didn't. I mean, it was just such a different Starscream. But Frank Totoro is a great modern Starscream, in my opinion. So, not exactly. Not exactly. The thing about Target Masters is, like Headmasters, is that there is what's called a binary bond. And so with a binary bond, you're actually connected to another Transformers. You're actually connected to that other being. So even in the Japanese Headmasters, it's basically the same being. So like the Japanese Godmasters, which is Power Masters, the what's it called? So I'll give an example. Chrome Dome or is it Chrome Dome? Or no, let's say Fortress Maximus, Spike, Cerebros. They are binary bonded to each other. In fact, actually, even better, Scorponok. G1 Scorponok was a headmaster, and you had Lord Zarak. Well, Lord Zarak was a organic being, and he had emotions. And when he connected to Scorponok, the reason why Scorponok was a little bit more heroic in Simon Furman's run in the comic when Scorponok died fighting Unicron, was because of the binary bonding between Lord Zarak and Scorponok. In the same way, Optimus Prime did the same thing when he binary bonded to High Q, the Nebulan who created the Power Master process. So when Optimus Prime was destroyed and he died using the Matrix to destroy Unicron, High Q was still around. He was no longer High Q. High Q was now Optimus Prime. So at the end of the comic, the last Autobot rebuilt Optimus Prime into his Action Master body. And when he did, was basically rearranged and refitted High Q, an organic being, into Optimus Prime. So Megatron, going all the way back to that, Target Masters do the same thing. So Hot Rod is binary bonded to Firebolt. Point Blank is binary bonded to his Target Master. So Megatron doesn't do that. Megatron just transforms into a gun that you use, but he's not bonded to anybody, and anybody can use him. So like when you're binary bonded to a Target Master, the Target Masters are actually connected in that way. So Megatron can't quite be a target master, if that makes any sense. So Megatron, now psychologically speaking, you might think that he's a target master, and I'll tell you why. The reason why his gun mode has so much merit is because the idea um, is that you know, Megatron goes, I am the most powerful weapon in the universe when I transform into gun mode. Use my power, and you too can be all powerful too. Think about that for a second. In any boy's power fantasy like He-Man, when you lift the sword up and you say, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power, right? You have the power now. So you're thinking about it, you have all this power because you're scrawny Prince Adam, and now you become He-Man. So in the same way, Megatron, um, you know, like plays into that when he turns into a gun. He goes, I'm I'm the most powerful. I'm the most powerful weapon. But you become powerful. Use my power. Proof of pudding in that is the episode Autobot Spike, the very first episode of season 2, and issue 13 of the Marvel Comics, when a low-level street punk is about to get offed by the mafia, and he picks up Megatron and uses Megatron to go on a crime spree. So the gun isn't really controlling him. Isn't really controlling anybody. Like, Megatron's not controlling you, but he is. He's commanding you. He is your leader, but you hold him. So that was the whole idea behind Megatron being a gun, and why it actually makes sense. But in a sense, all I said there was to say he's not a target master. So I hope my explanation psychologically makes sense. It would have been easier to name Jazz instead of Mirage. Problem solved. Would have preferred Jazz. Yeah, but like I said before, they didn't name the character. They didn't name the character. I mean, they didn't choose the car because of the character. They made the character and then said, "Yeah, we need a car mode. Oh, it'd be so cool if we got a Porsche. Yeah, let's assign that to Mirage, because they weren't going to do Jazz." That's really the bottom line. So, did it make sense? Did what I say about target masters and Megatron not being a target master make sense? And if you think about it, when Megatron, when Soundwave uses Megatron, you think about it, he's now loyal to Megatron. But when Starscream uses Megatron as a gun, I now hold all the power. I'm the most powerful. I'm Starscream. I should lead. It plays to your head. So, yeah, loved issue 13 of the original comic. So, and yeah, target masters enhance the gun capability. Leland's awesome. If anyone, I think you're still doing the you were still trying to do that Straight Out of Cybertron, right? I'm sorry, it's getting late, and I'm like, I've been talking for 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's been fun, just chilling and chatting with about 50 people, at a given time. Love a long info dump. Yeah, if you're still up to do something, man, just let me know. Straight Out of Cyber. Yes, that's it. Straight Out of Cybertron. Speaking of which, you have all those display. If I remember correctly, you got all those display cases and stuff. You got to show me some images again. You and I gotta talk again. But you're still up in Jersey, so I believe, or you're in PA. I forgot. The funny thing about Shockwaves, he turns into a blaster. Yeah, you see, other Transformers can turn into a gun, but they're not doing what Megatron. Megatron's using um his gun mode to the advantage. So like that's like the thing. Like Shockwave um can fly on his own in gun mode. If you read the Marvel comics, he's actually like he actually flies around in his blaster mode. So he's basically like a mobile gun that can be used. Like Bruticus actually uses them. So don't you hate when your toys suffer the domino effect? Yeah. I haven't had that. Well, actually, yes. If I take one of those Transformers down from the shelf above, especially when you're doing dusting, so that's why I decided not to put so many up on display at a given time. And I've actually, I'm overdue to go through my display and actually rearrange it a little bit. So, how do you Transformers see? Um, yeah, they have optic sensors for whatever mode they're in. So wherever they put their optic sensors, that's really what it comes down to. So like it could be in the windshield, it could be in the headlights. It all depends upon that transformer. And if it's like a jet, it could be in like add the cockpit sensors could be right there. Um, it's basically actually like a visual. The best example I can give is when Smokescreen uses the smoke on him. um it uses the smoke like on the Decepticons and like they can't see, so there is actual blinding that could happen from smokescreen smoke. So that would basically be the answer to that. If we can't get Death's Head in the Transformers toy, maybe in the Marvel Legends toy line. That's complete. Actually, you know something, Hasbro's been doing Marvel Legends. Yes. I've got to ask that question. Oh, no, no, no. I know. Yes, the yes is how. Yeah, I know it. That's from the UK comics. I got vintage Beast Wars Grimlock for $10. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's it. You got to be careful about that. Definitely. My Transmetal One Beast Wars Megatron is broken because of the gold. Well, it was brown plastic, but it's the same reasoning. Turbo Teen. Yes. Yep. Hardcore, 100% Marvel Comics all the way, completely. If I had to contrast and compare between the two of them, storytelling wise, Marvel Comics. Art wise, IDW. But Dreamwave's art was, especially when Don Figueroa, like the last parts of Dreamwave, the artwork for Dreamwave. But imagine if they had Don Figueroa redraw all of this without the Neil Yomtov style. All the robots are one color in an issue. Like you have an entire panel full of robots and it's like blue, red, like you know, transmittal. Yeah, the arms broke off. Yep, and you basically can't really do much about that, unfortunately, because it's on the hinge. The hinge that like it transforms because where the arm goes, and then you can't turn them into T-Rex mode. So that sucks too because my first two Beast Wars figures that I bought were $14.99 for their scale, which was in 1997, 98. Was Beast Wars Optimus Primal and Beast Wars Megatron. And it was one purchase. Those are my first two Beast Wars figures. So I did not buy Beast Wars before that because it took me that long before I got into Beast Wars. But once I got in, I was all in. IDW of Post Megatron, I Still Function is pretty cool. Yeah. Same problem with my Transmetal Megatron. Yeah, unfortunately, that's just I didn't know that Pat Lee, the guy who started Dreamwave, got into NFT. That was before that point. That was before that. He just didn't pay his people. Matt Moylan, if you guys are not familiar with who Matt Moylan is, I've actually had him on the channel once before. He was a someone who was like higher up on the scale, and he was also an artist along with Dreamwave. But he also did those little formers. In fact, my logo, Rodimus Primal, that you see was drawn by him, and I asked him if I could use it for my logo, and he said, absolutely, go ahead. But he actually said that no, what happened with Dreamwave was that he just like Pat Lee just went above and beyond, spent all the money that they made on the comics to build this super sized studio that they didn't need, and then they had to pay rent, and they couldn't pay rent, and they went under. So because Pat Lee just didn't pay his people at all. So I hope we already, you know what? If we have this guy, we got to get more. This guy is awesome. I have to say, like, currently right now, I think this is one of my favorite legacy figures. Like, easily top 10, could be closer than that. But yeah. Bro, Leland, thank you so much, man. If you were in Orlando, if you're knowing about MegaCon, I would have traveled with them. Definitely hook up with you straight out of Cybertron. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Make it out to TFCon in Orlando. And in October, like, try to plan out for that one, because I will be there. Or at least I'm going to really try to do so. So I really, really appreciate that. And for that, we'll give you this one.
Stop! Let go of my dad! It's the double G. Snoop Dogg!
Love that one. Pat Light, yeah. He eventually did go off to try to sell NFTs, like, so I don't know. But got your hotel. Awesome. Yeah, I still have to book a hotel room myself. So, and I got to talk to, like, I've actually emailed Colin, the guy who runs the show. So I'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens. Rodimus maximize. How do I feel about they made Dinobots into a combiner? See, I thought that they never needed to combine. Like, they were powerful on their own. But a lot of fans always want them to combine, so they eventually turned them into a combiner. And now there's some people who liked it. And, personally, I think when it comes down to OG Dinobots, keep them as they are. They don't need to change. I was getting late. I can't believe it's midnight. Thoughts on Ezra Miller? Yes, the man needs help. I'm going to leave it at that. After 2 years, I finally ordered Kingdom Cyclonus. Wow. Great figure. Definitely one of the best of the war for Cybertron. You might have to get used to the transformation with getting the cockpit out. It's the way that it unfolds reminds me of those Russian dolls that, like, you can, like, pop open and there's a smaller one on the inside, and you pop that open and it's a smaller one on the inside. Cyclonus's cockpit kind of folds out that way, and it's kind of cool. I think it was an ingenious transformation to get that robot mode. So, Swindle is the type of guy that sells stop motions. Generation Scourge, and honestly couldn't fit with modern media. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It doesn't really fit. Beast multiple times. Heard theories that Predacons will be in Rise of the Beasts. Yeah, I think they'll be in the movie. I don't know which ones they will do. Um, Thoughts on other Dinobots that aren't main ones like Slash and Paddles. I like Slash. Paddles. I don't like the idea behind a Dinobot that isn't a dinosaur. If it's not a dinosaur, it's not a Dinobot. It's not an Ankylosaurus. It's not a Plesiosaurus, a Brachiosaurus, a Velociraptor. With the frill one from which isn't even accurate thing according to actual scientific research. If it's not a dinosaur, it's not a Dinobot. So paddles I think is a Plesiosaurus, but I think there was one that was in the IDW comics that turns into a two-headed dragon. Like that's not you know um yeah, strictly speaking, Swoop isn't a dinosaur, but it is within the same age, so I guess it kind of fits. Um, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it fits because it's around the same time, but you know, I want a movie version of Waspinator. So I don't think they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna do the Predacons justice. At least I don't think so. Um, but what I'm saying is I don't think that Dinobots should be like if they weren't around the same time the prehistoric dinosaurs. It doesn't make sense for them not to be Dinobots. Like it just like you don't take an alien from another planet that turns into another creature that's not an Earth dinosaur or an Earth prehistoric dino or within the same, I guess you could say, family. Which is probably why the saber-toothed tiger worked for the Dinozords in the Mastodon. Even though it's like they're not dinosaurs. It's the same thinking. Yeah, yeah. In Wheeljack Spark. I've seen a lot of the cool Dinobots, but like I said, I really think that I feel like that they're better off as not a combiner. Just because, yeah, and that's the other thing. I love the reason why I think that the Dinobots work so well from the G1 cartoon origin perspective is that they are the Autobots turning Autobots or creating Autobots out of what their 1980s understanding of dinosaurs are. So this is what a dinosaur we think a dinosaur is. The T-Rex actually doesn't stand this way. So Grimlock standing upright is not how a T-Rex stands. So it's actually the way that the Jurassic Park T-Rex stands. So Grimlock doesn't make sense. Um, you know, um, trying to make him like classic G1 Dinobot if the origin is not the G1 Dinobots. So, or for the cartoon, like the cartoon origin versus the comic origin. So, at least that's like my thought process on that. Grimlock and the boys, two swag, two tool combined. Yeah, yeah. Then you have to put their brains together. That's why I think that beast thing, um that my old Dinobot retrospective, um probably be for a whole lot of reasons. Licensing, it's a bad game. Nobody wants to really play it except for the curiosity of playing it. And they'd have to do something about that flashing screen. How do I feel about the War Within Dinobot Origin? Hmm, I'm on the fence about that one. I personally think that they like the G1 cartoon, like take some of the like take the idea the whole I have a whole head canon that could work. That could actually say that the Dino because the other thing is that if you look at the G1 Dinobots, the cartoon Dinobots, are they alive? Well, they are, right? But do they have a spark? Well, is a spark in the G1 cartoon? Technically, yes. Is his laser core extinguished? Yes, yes. So a life spark does exist. So what about the Dinobots? The Dinobots do have a spark. In my eyes, is that Wheeljack took 5 existing Autobots whose bodies were damaged beyond repair and built brand new bodies and made the Dinobots. And their personality and heads were actually damaged, so their programming had to be, reprogrammed in order to make Grimlock actually what he is. And that also works into my Computron origin, or at least my thought process on it, is that Grimlock, when he bit into the electronics panel within Cybertron that actually turned him smart, he actually connected to Primus, who actually gave him the ability to create 5 new Transformers with sparks out of the body. If you think about it, he actually using parts out of Unicron. So Computron, that's why Computron is the colors that he is. So pretty deep thinking there, but G1 Dinobots are they lack speech and they're naive. They're still treated with respect. Yes, and they are a formidable threat. Absolutely. Yeah, Kuroda from Beast Wars Neo. I'd like to see them two face off. That would have been great to see them two face off. Grimlock versus Beast Wars Megatron. So the game is okay. Anyway, it is now almost 3 hours into this, and I just chatting with you guys has been fun. But if you haven't noticed, I'm starting to get a little tired. I'm still tired from MegaCon. MegaCon was a fun experience. I want to wrap it up with my thoughts on MegaCon. It was fun. I met some other YouTubers there. I did get to sit on a lot of panels, so I sat with Carl Weathers panel and James McAvoy, Cobra Kai cast panel, so I got to sit on them. I only saw the celebrities that I got to meet. Grace, I think it's Gracie Jones, I think her name is. Ran into Karen Ashley, Walter Jones, talked to them. Where is it? Gigi Edley. There it is. Gigi Edley. I met her. If you remember from Farscape. So, anyone remember her from Farscape? She was a trip. I thought she was just straight up, awesome to talk to. She was just, full of energy. If you are a fan of her in anything, including Farscape, and she's ever at a convention that you go say hi to her. You will have she will actually, brighten up your day because she's just that much of an awesome personality. So can't say enough good things about her. Did I get more photos? I got more photos. I didn't get to talk to everybody, but Jackie Dallas. I'm sorry, Jackie Dallas is her name. Got to talk to her for a while, and then there were lots of cosplays and stuff like that I saw there. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun, but exhausting. Mostly anime, mostly Star Wars. Not as much Transformers as I would have hoped, but hey, maybe next year, a Transformers name being what it is, we'll see. So I've got more videos coming. Maybe some more toy reviews, maybe some, obviously a brand new retrospective. I'm gonna barrel down on that script. I'm going to let my patrons and my channel members know who that is. They probably already hint who I'm really aiming for to actually get a retrospective done for. He's overdue. His character is overdue for a retrospective. So, but I'll leave it at that. So, with that, as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.